Recently, one of my subscribers asked me to share a way to correct RF door and window sensors such as Sonoff DW1 that send only one code while opening the door, but they doesn't send anything while closing the door. Hence, with open only code, these sensors are useless to install. A few months ago, I had shared video number 40 regarding the alternate usage of one of such sensors that sends the RF code only while opening and not at closing. In that video, I had modified the sensor to use it as a wireless PIR motion sensor. If you have one such sensor and are interested to use it as a motion sensor, you can check that video in I button above. The link is also provided in the description below. As my subscriber wanted to use it as a door sensor only, hence I started looking for a way to modify it. And after tinkering for a few days, I found a solution and modified this sensor to use it as a normal 433 MHz RF door sensor that sends both open and close codes. Apart from this, now it also sends two different codes for battery low and normal state. And all this is done with very little battery power. Hence you can run it on a single battery for years. So wanna know how I did it? Let's get started. To move in the right direction, we first need to understand how this RF sensor sends the RF code. In most of these sensors as well as the RF remote transmitters, you will find a very common chip EV1527, which is an RF encoder chip that generates a code to send it over the RF frequency. This is an 8-pin IC that have 4 dedicated pins from pin number 5 to 8 for configuring different codes. By changing the state of these pins, it can generate different RF codes. Sonoff manufacturer has also provided 4 configuration pads that are connected to the corresponding configuration pins of the IC on the other side of the PCB. For example, in this module, if we check, pin 5 and 8 are made high, while pin 6 and 7 are connected to ground. So with only 2 pins high, if you power on this chip, it will send that default factory set code that we receive while moving the magnet away. But if we also connect pin 6 or 7 to high level, we can get a different code. Let me show you. So as you have seen, we can receive different codes to notify different functions if we keep changing the logic level states of these 4 pins. But how to set the right pin to right logic level automatically and get the desired codes for each function like opening and closing of the door and notifying the correct battery state. To achieve this, I have just used only one component, and that is this ATtiny85 microcontroller chip. I have programmed this chip to control the configuration pins of RF encoder chip EV1527 in accordance with the state of read switch and the battery state. Now what you have to do is download the hex file from the link provided in the description and then program this ATtiny85 chip using that hex file. If you don't know how to program a microcontroller using hex file, please watch my video number 54 first, where I have explained about the same. Link of that video is in the description below. Once you have programmed the ATtiny85, connect it to your door sensor board as shown in this circuit diagram. You can take a screenshot of it for an easy reference later. Here, please make sure that you do not connect this modified circuit to the existing sensor battery. The reason is that the ATtiny chip can handle a maximum voltage of 5.5 volts only, while in most cases the sensor battery is of 12 volts. Hence, it can fry the 80 tiny chip. So, to run it, you may either lower the voltage using a voltage regulator or can simply use a lower voltage battery. I avoid using voltage regulators in battery powered devices as they may drain some of the precious battery power in that process. Instead, I have used this lithium battery that at full charge provides 4.2 volts and normally they work at 3.7 volts most of the time. Above all, it fits perfectly in this sensor casing too. You may also use two AAA batteries in series to make 3 volts to run this sensor. This modified circuit works fine even at lower voltages up to 2 volts. Talking about its power consumption, it only takes around 4 mA current for just 1 second while sending the RF code. And then it rests at 0.5 microamps while in standby mode. So considering this ultra low power consumption, this sensor can theoretically run for years on a single battery. If you are using a lithium battery, it will notify you about low battery once the battery voltage falls below 3 volts. If you plan to run it on AAA batteries in series, the low battery code will be transmitted once the voltage drops below 2.3 volts. So this was all about the modification of these dumb RF door sensors. Now you can reuse all these sensors to get unique codes for different actions. If you have any query or if you face any issues while modifying it, do comment below and I will respond to them at the earliest. You may also join VCC Ground Telegram channel for deep discussion on the same. And at last, if you haven't liked the video yet, do like, share and subscribe VCC Ground for more such unique DIY and practical ideas that you won't get anywhere else. So that's it for now. We will meet in another exciting video soon. Till then, goodbye friends.